Thank you, Jacob, for your tail dragging story. Are there any questions this morning?
I have a question. Good morning. Um, it's probably a rhetorical question and more to do with advice on my practice, but the more I practice, and when I say the more, it's just a fact of more minutes on the cushion, not better, not worse, no progress, no not progress. But I start realizing that there's a lot of terms, original nature, don't know, only go straight. There's a lot of terms that when we initially, or when I initially hear them, I think, well, I sort of understand. I know what they're talking about. But as time passes, I realize I'm not really digesting these terms because when I'm sitting and I think, or I try to digest one of these terms, well, really, what does it mean? What does original nature mean? So I start to realize that terms that intellectually we think we understand, when we start to try to digest them and make them ours, they get stuck somewhere around here and they never get digested. So my question is am I making something? Am I being impatient with my practice? Or what advice could you give me to, with all these terms that we think we understand when we hear them, but when we really start trying to digest them and make them ours, we realize they're stuck somewhere here and we really haven't digested them.
Right. Yeah, that's the problem with understanding. You know, Zen Master Sung Sung always said, understanding is not going to help you. So you can understand these terms, you can memorize them, you can know the etymology of all the different terms. There's hundreds of thousands of them, but they all mean the same thing. They all refer to your original true self. So the Buddha experiences his original true self when he sees a star in the morning, right? Or what he thinks is a star. So that's an experience. So Zen, as you rightly perceive, involves a direct experience rather than an understanding or an explanation or a belief, right? So it's kind of one thing that attracted me to Zen originally was that Zen wasn't based on belief. I mean, Zen Master Sung Sung uh, actually didn't care what you believed. And Zen doesn't care what you believe. You can believe anything you want. So what? Right? It's what have you actually experienced? What's your this moment experience? So when Jacob was talking about walking down the street and seeing a cypress tree, I don't know. Do we have cypress trees in Kansas? I don't know. Anyway, then that experience brings him back into just this moment, and since this moment is all there is, right? Past mind, well, you don't get it. You can think about it. Future mind, well, you can think about your future mind, but you don't know what that is. But in this moment, there's the tree as Jacob is walking down the street, you know. So that brings him back to this moment, and then suddenly all that other stuff kind of disappears, right? Should I be the star in version 2 of the Night Manager, or should I, whatever? Maybe I should move to a hotel in Vietnam. I don't know. Oh God, right? So you can sit around and think about that junk as your whole life, as you probably experienced already. But Zen is about waking up in this moment and perceiving what your job is just now. And of course, we have in Zen we talk about your small job and your big job, right? So his small job might be working as the front at the front desk. It might be being a professor. It might be being a doctor. It might be being a monk or a nun. And then there's your big job, and that's conceived of as helping this world. You know? So even the Buddha didn't perceive this big job when he so-called got enlightenment when he saw the star. So It's kind of interesting because a Hindu god had to float down out of heaven and say, hey, wait a minute. You just can't sit there. You have to get up and do something, right? So that's when the Buddha really wakes up because he perceives his original job, which is helping the world. So usually when we talk about jobs, we always mention your original job, which is love and compassion for all beings. So no, you didn't miss anything there. All of those are terms which are pointing at something, and that pointing is I like to think of it as kind of evocative. You know, it drags out of you what originally is already there, and it's based on an intention. And this intention is to help the world. Maybe you help the world by working in a hotel. I don't know. It doesn't have any fixed content, right? So it's our job to find this true self and then help the world. It's pretty simple, but you know, it's based on an experience, not on an understanding of texts or philosophies or any of that kind of crap. It's the turtle dragging his tail through the mud. Hello. Doesn't sound very exciting, but it is what we are. So that means to wake up just now. Zen Master Sung Song called that moment world. So we live in a moment world, but we think we live somewhere else. And that's created by our thinking. It's interesting because we already have the answer inside of us. We already are it, right? The Buddha said, wow, everybody already has it. They just don't know it. So this waking up is coming to just know what you really are. And that comes from direct experience. So that's why Zen always emphasizes experience. Because, well, that's this moment world, and that means waking up. So you can be walking down the street, and I don't know where Jacob lives. You live in Lawrence? Someplace, right? No, he lives in a town east of here, right? So it doesn't make any difference if you live there or Singapore or Tibet somewhere. It's about waking up just now and helping this world. Okay? Actually, you're not understanding what those terms mean is actually good because they're evocative. They're not, their fingers pointing. They're not it, so to speak, whatever it is. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure, please.
Yeah. So as I'm practicing more and more, I can now better see all this habit energy and all this compulsiveness that's in me that I wasn't aware before. So my question is, how do we break all this, habit energy and not be pulled by this compulsion? I realize that sometimes I'm a little bit less, my mind is a little bit less unclear. I can, have a stronger hold to break those compulsiveness. But other times, I know that I'm being pulled by this, but it just can't, break free from it. So I was wondering if you could give some advice on how to break the prison that we make within ourselves.
I don't know, but I do know how we talk about it. We talk about letting go, right? So it's not about getting rid of those things, it's about not attaching to them. So everything is kind of about non-attachment, except then we got this great big attachment, which is our attachment to the suffering of the world and wanting to relieve it. So that's called big I want. So your attachment to all these things are a form of I want, which is the source of suffering, the Buddha says, right? So we practice to let go, to not be attached. There's thousands of words for that. And how it happens, I don't know. But I do know if you sincerely, with a clear direction, clear reason, pursue this, then it will happen. But how it happens, why it happens. I wish there was a cool little formula or an explanation that I could put in a pamphlet, or we could put in a pamphlet and hand out to people, and then wow, all this is going to go away, right? This is all going to be resolved. But the main thing is to just practice with sincere direction. You're not practicing for you, you're practicing for all beings. And the good side of that is you are one of all those beings, so you get the results too. So it's all about direction and intention and just what we call just doing it. And if you just do it, then you're not, just doing it means not attached to the result. So every human being is attached to the result of their actions, right? Even when they're practicing, they want to have this practicing lead to something. I don't want to be wasting my time sitting here looking at the floor. And then I want something mind is going to say, well, this is stupid. I'm sitting here looking at a floor. And it is stupid. Practice is really stupid. And what you're trying to connect with is your completely stupid self, which doesn't want anything except to help the world. So I can talk about this for the next 300 years, but then you actually have to do something. Me too, right? And you have to do it in this moment. So it's about waking up just now with a clear intention. So how you do that is through, effort, clear intention. Those are the things that lead your practice, kind of like energy, to go in the right direction and have some kind of beneficial result for you and everybody else and everything else. So do it. Let go, let go, let go, let go. That means letting go of anger, desire, and ignorance. And then you return to just now, then just do it. Just do it is love and compassion for all beings. That's what Barbara Rhodes meant when she said, when I'm at work, I'm already at home, because she's just doing the work, whatever it is, right? So that's your true nature and its function. They actually aren't separate. True nature and function are the same thing. They all mean just do it. Then you become one, right? Zen means become one. That means just do what you're doing just now. If you're practicing, practice. If you're watching a turtle drag its tail through the mud, just sit there and watch. But we're always checking, wait, did I get it? Did I didn't get it? Blah, 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 blah. And then the cypress tree will maybe drop a branch on your head and you'll wake up for a second. Okay? Any other questions? No?
I have a question.
Sure.
How can we, I understand we're trying to get through this matter of life and death, wake up, serve all beings. But right now, there's people that are dying. And so how do we help them right now?
Yeah. So helping them right now means wake up just now. So when you wake up just now, these sound like fancy words, but you become one with everything just now. So it's described as an infinite job, right? So how did Buddha help everybody right now? How did Bodhidharma? How did Jesus? How did Muhammad help everybody right now? And you do that by just doing it, by becoming one. And that's based on a great I want, right? So there's a person dying in Topeka. So how do you help this person dying in Topeka? there's also people dying in Afghanistan, and there's also people dying in mainland China. So how do you do that, right? So it's actually not about that, because you can't be in all those places at once, but you can become one with the whole universe by letting go just now and doing your job as it appears for you, moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. Then if you become one, then you're how do you say it? Then you're doing your big job. So your big job in life may be just washing dishes, maybe just washing the car, it may be just kissing your wife. And that's helping all beings. If you just do it, then you become one. But you can think all kinds of stuff, like I don't know. You can think, oh, I like Donald Trump. I don't like President Xi. Okay, but you can have that thought. Just don't attach to it, right? Then you become one with this moment, and you are thinking that at this moment. So you become one with that thought in this moment if you're not attached to it. The problem is human beings are attached to everything. Your like and dislike mind and this illusion of the self covers just about everything. So that's why it's inconceivable what you attain, right? The Buddha way is inconceivable. I vow to attain it. So that means just letting go. It's actually an experience. It's not a cognition, although we can talk about it. In fact, I'm doing it right now. So you just let go of it at this moment. And so to pursue that takes this great vow and this great energy and this great everything, right? But that's just do it. So just do it seems like a big thing, but actually it's a small thing. And it's actually not even you. It's your just do it self. You just do it self doesn't have I, my, me. It only has just do it. So that's like the big meaning of that whole thing. So how do I help somebody in Topeka who's dying? By just doing what I'm doing just now. And that's it. Maybe I want to jump in my car and drive over to Topeka. I don't know, but I don't have a car. So I'm stuck. But all of that kind of thinking contributes to your great vow, which brings you back to this moment and just do it. That's the purpose of the great vow. Like Barbara Rhodes said, when she is at work, and she works as a hospice nurse, so she is at home because that moment is her home, and this moment is our home. So if you just become one with that, that's already the great work of life, and death is finished. Become one. That helps the whole world. So that's enough blah, blah, blah. It looks like it's time for announcements. Thank you. Thank you for coming this morning and practicing. This is all based on intention. So it's this great vow that leads us to do this. That's a human being's job. Whether you're Chuang Tzu sitting there looking at a turtle in a river, or you're sitting here listening to me blab, 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 it's the same. In this moment, wake up. Thank you.